Hola amigos. Here we are going to learn how to conjugate regular verbs in the preterite. Now there are a lot of irregular verbs in the preterite, but more verbs are regular than irregular. They're just not used maybe as often. But this is actually a pretty simple process for if you have a regular verb. So for regular verbs, we've got these endings: aste, o, amos, astes, aron. For ER and IR, they're going to share the same endings. And in the present tense, we had a separate chart. We had an ER chart and we had an IR chart. But for pretérito and pretty much going forward, they're gonna share endings. So here, iste, yo, imos, iste, ñeron, and we're gonna do this process just like we normally would with our normal verbs. With our normal process. So if we had like present tense, what we would normally do, we had like hablar, por ejemplo. It's an AR verb. So what we do is you drop the ending, and what you're left with is your stem, HABL, and then you add your new ending. So if we look over here at the yo form, if we have a yo form with hablar, we're going to conjugate this as hablé, because we're just going to add that con acento al final. So we've got yo hablé. Put that yo in there as well. I promise these are spelled correctly. They're just, it's not in Spanish spell check. So let me go change that real quick. Okay, y está. And then we go to the to form. And we're going to do the same process. We have HABL, AR. Remember, we're starting from hablar, getting rid of the A, getting rid of the R. And when we add our new endings, which we look at where the to form is, right here, these aste is the ending we're going to use. So we get hablaste. Ele usted, same deal. Let's go with L here, and we'll say hablar. Get rid of the AR, you add O con acento. So nothing real complicated. The thing that gets tricky is notice we have an accent mark on the yo form and on the el, ella, usted. That third person singular form has an accent mark. It's on the last letter. Not such a big deal here, but when we move on and we go into the ER and IR, we have a double vowel ending here for ER and IR. And some people screw that up and put an accent mark on the wrong letter, but it's on the last letter. So let's go ahead and finish this off, and we'll go over. I'll just go right below it. Nosotros hablamos, and here I just went a little bit quicker because I think you see the process in which we're just dropping the AR, and I'm left with a stem. HABL is the stem, and then I add my ending. Now here, notice vosotros always trips people up, but it's pretty regular. There's nothing real special about it. There's no accent mark in the pretérito. And it's just always the to form. Notice the to form right here, hablaste, hablaste. And all we do is we add the letter I, add the letter S, and then you have it. 100% of the time, that's how the vosotros will work. And then the ellos, ellas, ustedes, HABL is their stem, add the aron, hablaron. So that works out for most of our AR verbs. Again, a lot of verbs are irregular in the preterite, but these, a lot of irregular verbs, but there's still going to be plenty of regular verbs that we definitely need to know this. And even verbs that are irregular or have some sort of spell change will still follow the same endings oftentimes. So comer, ER verb, we're going to conjugate that one out. Comer is an ER verb, so we got COM. I'll just start from this, I guess. Comer, ER, drop the ER, we're left with COM as our stem, and then we add I with an accent mark, y con acento right here. We've got that. That's the ending. Yo comí, I ate. Let's go ahead and fix the language on this. I don't like seeing the red underline. All right, and then tu comiste, and we had COM as our stem. We added iste to the end, comiste, COM as our stem, adding io. Now here, O has the accent mark. O is the accented letter, not the I. The I is just another vowel that has to go before the ending. We stress that last syllable, so we need the accent mark on it. But the I and the O will blend together to make one syllable, but the O carries the accent. Comió. We got the stem, add the imos, comimos. And just like we had with our AR verbs, you take to form the vosotros, start with the to form, comiste. You can see we got that right there, the to form right here, comiste, and then you take that and then you add is. Now you got the vosotros, com, iron, added the hierron. Now we got that. So that was an ER verb, and it's going to be the same. I'm just going to go over here and copy this again, and we can do an IR verb here. Let's do escribir. Escribir is an IR verb. So I can just take this ESCRIB as our stem. You can see I just everything but the IR of the verb. That's our stem. And what I can do is just replace that stem with this stem, and I get my conjugation. Escribí, escribiste, escribió. And let's get rid of the COM, and we add the escribí, or escribe, and then the emos with it. Still the same deal here. We've got our two form, escribiste, plus is for the vosotros, escribisteis. I see I somehow ended up deleting our my comer conjugations, but hopefully you realize that just ER and I are the same. We just happen to have they happen to have the same endings, just the stem. One of them, one set ends with IR, one set ends with ER, but they work just as well. Lots of irregulars to come in other videos, but for now, these are the regular conjugations. They are going to take you far. Again, plenty of irregulars, but most verbs are regular. So even if they are irregular, you need to know these endings. So even when we get to stem changing verbs, they're going to be IR verbs. They have these exact endings. When we get into spell changing verbs like caer, ser, they're still going to use those AR endings. All right, more to come. Hasta luego.